Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I'm building another house in the world of Chestnut Ridge, which is of course the world that came with the newest expansion pack, The Sims 4 Horse Ranch. And this is going to be another sort of modern farmhouse inspired build. I did a tiny house in this style right when I got access to the pack, but I really wanted to build something that was a little bit bigger and had space for a family. And so that is what we are doing here today. I'm building on a 40 by 30 lot, which isn't like a huge lot, but considering I tend to build on smaller lots, for me it's a little bit on the bigger side. And this ends up being, I believe, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. It also has an office and it's quite spacious, to be honest. The backyard also has space for a horse and a chicken coop. So I am using a couple of the different animal options from a variety of packs, as chickens did come with cottage living. I still think at some point I might do a really big ranch that includes all of the animals, so that way you could have like cows, horses, llamas, mini goats and sheep, like everything, and cats and dogs, and that could be really fun. I just think it's going to be an interesting challenge to figure out what style to go for, because with horse ranch, I feel like the horse stuff you can do in any style because it's just like a hay bed and a place for water and food. Whereas with cottage living, the animals are tied to very stylized sheds that match the world of Henford on Bagley. So maybe it has to be like a bigger farm area over in that world, or there are some tricks you can do with like scaling down the sheds to get it to look like the cows and the llamas are not tied to them, but it's a little finicky. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. But if you would like to see a bigger ranch or farm at some point in time that includes all of the animals that we have available in the game right now, definitely let me know what you think about that, because I think that could be kind of interesting. But anyway, the shape of this house is quickly coming together now. It's very white and black. I really wanted to go for that more, I guess, stereotypical look of a modern farmhouse, the ones you see online a lot. And I really like black and white together. And this sort of style, I've always really enjoyed it. So building something using a combination of packs, I did not limit pack usage at all here, but trying to use a lot of horse ranch, of course, was really fun. So I'm using these big modern windows over on this side of the build. That's actually where the primary bedroom is going to be, which I thought was really cool. The bottom floor has the primary bedroom and a infant's nursery that's like right next to it. And then upstairs, I have a kids room that has bunk beds and a teen room, plus a playroom and a bathroom and a storage room and a laundry room. Like, there's a lot of space in this house, and it's kind of pricey. It's at around 115,000 simoleons, but I think that's not too bad for the amount of stuff I included, because you could have a fairly big family here, plus having a ton of animals. So I think it would be a fun one to build in, or not build in, to play in. It was a fun one to build, though. And speaking of which, if you would like to download this build and play in it for yourself, it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi, and you can also find it under the hashtag Gryphi. That info will also be in the description down below as well. And that might be a better way to find it right now. I know a lot of people, myself included, have been having some issues with the gallery where things are not showing up. I get comments every day from y'all being like, I can't find this. Is your name different? Did you change it? And it's honestly just the gallery being horrible right now. It's being so glitchy. Sometimes nothing comes up at all. Even on my end, when I see that I uploaded something, I can see that like a lot of people commented on it, but on my end, I can't see the comments. And it'll show that like one person liked it, but I also get notifications that that's not the correct number. The gallery is just really broken all the time, and I really hope that they will be able to figure it out and fix it soon, because a lot of us are having issues. So hopefully it'll be easier sometime soon, but I have been making sure to use the hashtag Gryphi as well, so hopefully it's easier to find it that way. Anyway, we have moved on to landscaping now. I love the structure of this house. I think it looks so pretty, kind of combining some vertical and horizontal paneling on the outside. Of course, the very stark contrast between the white siding and those black windows. Those are actually the ones that you can sneak out of, technically, from high school years. I didn't place them in places you'd be able to sneak out from. I just really like how simplistic they are. and they look like a really realistic window. So I decided to use quite a few of those throughout this build, but I did use a few from Horse Ranch as well. And overall, I just think it looks nice. We're working on the terrain paint now, just putting down some of the new dirts that we got and fencing in part of the front yard. And then I fence in the backyard completely. The front yard is pretty much open. I just put it there as a decoration. But in the back, over on one side, we have the area where your Sims can like hang out, and there's a table and chairs and stuff out here. And then over on the left is where we're going to have the stable for a horse, as well as a place for a chicken coop. At first I placed it on the right side, so you'll see me do that first, but then I end up moving it to the other side because it just didn't make too much sense. And while this doesn't really fit the style of this build, I feel like for a chicken coop, it kind of makes sense. I just think that the sheds for the cows and stuff were a little bit too different in style that they wouldn't fit here. Plus, it's a pretty small backyard because I decided I wanted a nice front yard as well. You could probably move this house up on the lot and get a bigger backyard to have more space for the animals. But there's so much usable space around this lot, and I think that's kind of how the Sims team was imagining you would play, is not just contained in your lot. So like right behind this lot, there is a big field area that has, I'm not sure if this is the one that has the jumps or the barrels, but there's a lot of those in like the playable areas around the lots in this world. So there's lots of places for you to go with your horses and do all of those activities, even if you decide to live on a smaller lot, because a lot of the lots here aren't that big. I thought we would get bigger ones with this pack, but like I guess it makes sense since they gave us all of this area around the world as well. Also inside these areas, I decided to put plenty of prairie grass, and a little bit later I will be using some of the new hay rugs we got. It's basically just a rug, but it looks like hay. And so I just put those all over to make it look like it was a little bit messier. I also got this really pretty swing set out here, which I believe is from the, oh goodness, what is the name of that kit? It's the backyard. No, that's a stuff pack. There was a kids themed kit that had like a bunch of cool stuff for outside sort of campers. Anyway, it's from a kit, and it's a really nice swing set. And so I thought I would use it here. And then I just got a nice picnic bench and some planters, and that ball is actually a ball your horses can play with, and it's so cute. I love watching the horses play with that. So I decided to do that. And then also I wanted this to be a family home, so I thought it would be kind of a cute idea to have a tree house out front. I know these trees don't technically match the world, but I still really wanted to have them. And it's just for the tree house, and the rest of the trees match. And I don't think it looks too out of place. I kind of liked it. But that's something you could easily delete if you disagreed with that being there. I just thought it was a fun addition and added to the whole idea of this being a larger family home and having the kids have a place to go out and do that. But just adding another tree in the front here. This is from the debug or live edit objects from Get Together, which is one of my favorite debug catalogs or live edit objects catalogs. That and Cottage Living. I feel like I use the plans from those a lot. But the ones that came with Horse Ranch are really solid as well. All of these like overgrown tufts of grass I used to add dimension to the rest of the lot are all from the newest pack. And a lot of the low-lying bushes and the rocks and stuff I'm using as well. I just think they look so nice here. And it, of course, blends in really well to the environment since that's what's being used off-lot as well. So just doing that, getting some more landscaping around. We have this little bench out front with a like little stool next to it. And then we're back on the front porch where I have a couple of rocking chairs and a table. And I just put down that little pitcher in between it, which you can, I believe, have like lemonade and stuff in. That came with the backyard stuff pack. I don't use it that often, but I thought it was kind of a cute idea to like sit on the front porch and drink some lemonade. That just sounds lovely to me. I actually have a glass of lemonade right next to me while I'm recording this. That's actually my favorite drink. I'm curious if anyone else agrees or what your favorite drink is. I know a lot of people will probably say coffee, but mine is lemonade. So let me know what yours is. But anyway, the floor plan is starting to come together down here. You walk in and you're kind of in the dining room, and then over on the side, I have a living room and kitchen. This back room over here is going to be an office. I wasn't sure at first if it was going to be a bedroom. I kind of moved things around a few different times because the room at the end with the big windows, I was originally thinking was going to be sort of like a sunroom, but it ends up being the primary bedroom in the end, which I much prefer. And the staircase placement here took me so long to figure out. And with that, I end up changing the upstairs floor plan a few different times as well because it was really weird. And in the end, it's still a little bit weird, but I think it works a lot better than it did to begin with. So I apologize for that. I did cut some of it out, but I kept some of it in as well so you can see the process. And I will point it out when the upstairs floor plan changes, because right now we just have a really awkward hallway space that I have no idea what to do with. So we'll get there in the end. The area where I have the 2 beds right now is actually not going to be a bedroom. That's going to be a playroom where I have all kinds of like toys and stuff for the kids to enjoy. It just made more sense for that sort of room than a bedroom. So that's what I ended up doing. And I find a better spot for the double beds. And at this point, I had not decided that other room was going to be the primary bedroom yet. I just have beds in both of these rooms and I don't know what's going on. And then I moved this over, and that's kind of when I realized that was going to work the best. I was also able to expand the bathroom size there. And then I'm trying to figure out up here how to make this work because it's just such an awkward floor plan. But we'll come back to that later. Now we are working on the kitchen space, and this has got to be one of my favorite rooms in the house. Honestly, I'm proud of most of them. I'm very, very proud of this house. I love how it came out, but I just think this kitchen is so dreamy. It might be partially because I love this style, and I think it's just really cute, especially because I used these countertops from Parenthood in here, which are still some of my favorite ones in the game. They've been a favorite since Parenthood came out, and they just look so nice in here, and I got to use a lot of my favorite items, including a wallpaper from Eco Lifestyle, which I should be adding down in a little bit here after I fix the roof. I kind of bounce all over in this build because I did extend out the house a couple of different spots here to make there be more room upstairs to make the floor plan make more sense. As you can see, it's been changed now. But when we do head back downstairs, I will be using that beautiful wood wallpaper from Eco Lifestyle. It is gorgeous. I'm in love with it. So I'm excited to do that, and this is where we're just playing with the stair placement. And the upstairs just makes so much more sense now. We have a little hallway leading into the bedrooms. I was able to extend the hallway so it's not so scrunched, and then you can see me placing down a couple of items in this room that is going to be a playroom. I just didn't want to forget what the room was going to be. I do that a lot in my builds, so we're just chucking down a couple of items I knew I wanted to include. And then we'll come back to it. But here we are in this kitchen, getting the matching sink that goes with these counters and moving the window so it's above the sink. I just think that's pretty realistic. It's not what everyone has. I know I live in an apartment and there are no windows in my kitchen, so I do not have a view out the window while I wash dishes. But I'm also kind of happy about that because I feel like I'd feel really uncomfortable. I'm not somebody who looks out the windows all the time, and I almost never have my blinds or curtains open because I feel uncomfortable for some reason. So I feel like I wouldn't really want to look out the window, but I know that's something a lot of people like to do. And it's pretty common to have a window above your sink. So I did include that. And then I got a countertop stove, and we have an oven in the counter over on the other side. I also used this really gorgeous fridge, which is from Cottage Living. It's just so pretty. And this room is just really coming together really quickly here. I do get quite a few plants in this room. One of my favorites in the corner. And then I scaled this plant down and raised it up on the island. And I just think it looks so cool. I sometimes forget we have that plant. It's just a base game one. But every once in a while, I will use it this way because for some reason, I don't like using it as is on the floor. But when you scale it down and put it on a surface, something about that just looks so elevated. I mean, obviously, it's literally elevated off the ground, but it just looks really nice. So I was quite happy with that. And then I got my cutting boards that I always put in every build, as well as a towel next to the sink. And we got a coffee machine. I pretty much decorated and filled up all of the counters except for one that's necessary to do some cooking. I really wanted this space to look lived in, but I also really wanted it to look neat and tidy. And I think I achieved that, but you can let me know for sure. So we're just figuring out what other decorations I want to put over here. I really like that one plant we got from the horse ranch pack that I put on the counter in the left of the kitchen. I just think it is so pretty. And then I got a couple of rugs in here as well, so you have something to stand on while you are cooking or washing dishes or what have you. These are rugs from, I believe, Tiny Living. And then I think in the corner over here, I'm going to get a chair to place down from Horse Ranch. And I also got a couple of trash cans as well. You technically only need one, but I just thought it looked nicer to have two. And then I decided to get rid of the spandrels here and add this archway that looks like sliding barn doors because, of course, I needed to have that in our modern farmhouse. So that is what leads you from the entry/dining room into your living room space. And I used a couple of these new bookcases. They're not that new yet anymore. They're from the last expansion pack before this one. They're from Growing Together, but I haven't used them that much. And I think they are so pretty and they fit very, very nicely into this style, especially how like simple and modern they are. So I decided to use those in this space. And then we should be getting our couches here momentarily, which are the ones that came with the Desert Luxe kit. And they are just so nice. There are so many different styles of couches you could have gone for in this space since it's kind of a more modern aesthetic in here. But I thought that these looked really nice and comfy, and I paired them with this rug that actually came from, oh goodness, I think that one's from Dream Home Decorator, and then the coffee table is actually from Jungle Adventure, which is kind of an unexpected pack, I would think, to use with this build. But I really like it. I love the wood tones on it. I also got a couple of chairs over there from the Paranormal Stuff pack, and of course getting a TV up on our fireplace, and a plant in the corner and a painting and a lamp, you know, all of the little things to make this space feel like it's more finished and complete. And then I cluttered up the coffee table with a bunch of items from kits. The tray and the plant are from the Book Nook kit, and then the chessboard is from the Everyday Clutter kit. And then I, of course, just got another lamp and a plant because that's what you put in every corner in a Sims build, and another tapestry. And that's mostly it for this room. I'm just going to be decorating the bookcase to add a couple more decorations. We have a stereo, some plants. I add some more stacks of books and like collections of books, and just trying to fill it up and make it look more complete because it has a lot of empty spaces by default. I like that it has some clutter to begin with, but it definitely needed more. So we're just adding some more boxes and stuff over here and slowly figuring out what colors and spaces needed a little bit more love. So getting this little plant over here, which is one of my favorites from the Blooming Rooms kit. I use it in pretty much every build. I actually even have an emote of it on my Twitch channel. It's just one of my favorite plants in the game. So, of course, I had to use that. And then we're back into the entryway area where we have our dining room. And I swapped out the table. I was originally going to use the one from Horse Ranch, but I decided that the one from my wedding stories really matched this house a little bit better, but I did use the chairs from Horse Ranch, and I really like how that came out. I think the wood is a little bit less worn down and weathered, and I think that just worked a little bit better here. Of course, Horse Ranch has a lot of items that are more run down, and that makes a lot of sense for that pack. It's just not exactly what I was going for in this build, so it was nice that some of the items don't have that texture to them. So I was able to use quite a bit of them, but I did still use some of the more worn items. As you can see, the like spandrels and stuff in here are a little bit more, not rustic and not run down. I'm trying to think of the word for it, but they're a little bit older looking and worn than the rest of the items in here. But I think it looks okay. That way I kind of like mixing the two, but this house is definitely a little bit more modern and new. And that was the intention. I really like how it came out. I love this build so much. Like, I feel like the floor plan took me a really long time to get, but once I got it, it looks like it was meant to be, and I feel like it flows together really nicely. Sometimes that happens like right away, and other times, no matter what, it feels awkward or it just takes a long time. And it was just really nice that this one eventually came together in the end, since it was quite the struggle, because I have a bad habit of building my houses from the outside and not thinking about the floor plan until I get to the interior, which I know is not the best idea, but it's how I prefer to build. I don't know why. Like, I have a order I typically do things in, and that's like the entire outside of the build, most of the landscaping, then the floor plan, then the kitchen. That's almost always how I go about it, but sometimes I switch it up a little bit. But I have done a couple of builds before where I'm thinking about the floor plan before I do the outside, or at the same time. So I've seen your suggestions to do that. I've done it a couple of times. I just prefer to build this way most of the time, so I have to figure it out as I go. And this was one of the houses I actually had to expand to fit the floor plan. As I had mentioned upstairs, I ended up extending the floor out a little bit upstairs, which luckily worked out okay. It didn't cause any big issues, but that's the first time in a really long time that I really had to do that, because I was just so in love with the shape of the front of the house that I was not willing to change it. But I had some areas that I could pull out over the back deck, which allowed me to have extra space upstairs. But I pretty much just talked over the entire primary bedroom. I hope you like how it came out. I think it's really nice and simple. But we are into the office space now. using a new desk and chair that came with Horse Ranch and these beautiful bookcases, which are from the newest Book Nook kit. I love them so much. Also, this wheel behind the desk is from Horse Ranch, but only if you like order the pack now before August sometime. I don't remember the exact date, but it's like a order early bonus. I keep wanting to call it a pre-order bonus, but like you don't have to pre-order it. Like the game's already out and you can buy it now and get those items. But anyway, it's an early order bonus item and I think it's really pretty. So I have that in here, and then we're just decorating the desk with some more clutter. We have some business cards and glasses and some open books and some closed books. And I just wanted it to look like it was actively being used. So that is what we did there. And then over on this side, I do end up adding some storage for some paintings as well as an easel and all of that, so that your Sims can do some painting if they'd like. But this is going to be the downstairs bathroom. I don't think I show the upstairs one. I might be wrong though, but they're pretty much the same. Actually, I do think I show it. Either way, we have like some really modern fixtures in here and the same counters that we have from the kitchen from Parenthood. I think they are so pretty. Also, this shower tub combo is my new favorite one in the entire game. I've mentioned this already, but it's from Growing Together. And it's so wild to me because it feels like we just got that pack and now we already have another expansion pack. And I believe we're only supposed to get 2 this year. So I have no idea what to expect for the rest of the year other than the fact that we know we're getting another kit or 2 this quarter, I'm pretty sure. So I'm really curious if we're going to get game packs and stuff packs and kits. I mean, we haven't had a stuff pack years at this point, but if we're not getting any more expansion packs this year, I feel like they've got to fill it in somehow other than kits. So I'd be very curious to see what they do. But anyway, this is the nursery on the first floor. It's very beige and black like the rest of the house. So some people might not be a fan of it, but I really just wanted it to fit the style of the rest of the house. And I love that decal I put up above the crib. I was kind of thinking that could be sort of like a sign like a lot of people put in their nurseries that has the baby's name on it. And it was a new item I haven't used yet, so I was quite excited to do that. And then over here, I'm just figuring out how to place down this dresser for like my Sims to have some more decorations in this space, as well as having a diaper changing table. And this little rug with the sheep is so cute. I love both of these new rugs. They're both from Horse Ranch and they just fit really nicely. And then I also got a play mat in there, which of course is way more colorful than the rest of the room, but I picked the one with the pig on it because it just felt like it fit a little bit better than the other ones. And then we are upstairs working on the room that has a bunk bed in it. I used the like horse, or I can't tell if they're unicorns or horses, but these really cute beds that have like rainbows and horses on them. I thought that they were adorable. And so I just really went all out with like an orange, pink, and blue color scheme in this room. So I got lots of posters and we got like some books and stuff on the bedside table, just trying to fill it up and make this a fun, colorful kids room. I feel like at this stage, you probably have a lot of interests. And I did have a little bit of a horse theme because Horse Ranch and the fact that I used the horse bedspreads. So I wanted them to have an interest in animals. And then I get a desk in here and a wardrobe. And I actually ended up putting a giraffe in here too, just because it fit in that space. And I feel like in kids' rooms, not everything has to be cohesive. So I thought it was okay, even though it really doesn't make any sense. And then this is going to be the teenagers' room, which I think this sim is kind of outdoorsy, but not in like the farming horse riding kind of way. I think they just like really like plants and like being outside and like exploring. And of course I gave them a guitar as well, so I feel like they're probably pretty into that. So I do end up adding quite a few plants around here. I love the planter I added from Blooming Rooms. That I think it's a little hedgehog. It's so cute. So I added that in here. They probably have like a soft spot for animals too, but maybe not the same kind of animals the rest of the family has. Like they don't want to be out there with the horses and stuff. They want to be like rescuing little animals. I think that's a really cute idea. And I can relate. I am a very big rabbit advocate. If you haven't heard me talking about that on the channel before, I am a bunny mom to 2 bunnies, and I am very passionate about correct care for little critters. So I can relate to that. And of course, that kind of stuff comes to mind when I'm building. Anyway, this room is pretty much done. They do have a little desk space over here, which I thought was quite cute. And I believe I grabbed a mirror, and that should be it for that room. I think it came out so nice in the end. And we're moving on into the playroom. This new dollhouse is adorable. It looks like a barn. I used the green swatch. We also got this really nice bookcase, which I believe is from the kids' room stuff pack. And this little artboard is from Growing Together. It's from like the community center area. And it's so cute. And it has little horse pictures on it. And I remember when that pack first came out, everyone being like, I think horses are coming because there's horse pictures, and I pointed them out too. And like the Sims team likes to say they don't do hints, but they do hints. There were so many horses in that pack, and then the next expansion was horses. I think that's kind of fun, but this room is just really cutesy. I feel like any of the kids can come in here. I also have a scouting board. We have a couple of doll houses and just like toys all around. It's a nice place for your family to hang out. You could probably change it up into another bedroom if you needed to, or maybe update the items that are in here as time goes on. Like as all of your kids are teenagers, maybe this becomes like a room that has like the old couch and like a TV with video games and stuff. I know when I was a kid, we would go over to my aunt's house for like holidays and stuff like that. And they had a room like this at the end of the hall that had like a big sectional sofa in it. And we would go in there to play DDR or just play some old games on the N64. I guess they weren't old at the time. They were the current games at the time. But I think of rooms like this. When I think of her house, it makes me think of doing this in The Sims. I'm very curious if other people had that in their homes. I never had one of these one of these rooms in my house growing up, but I did have an aunt that had one. So I like to include them every once in a while. And it's a nice use of the space, and then you don't have to clutter up the bedrooms as much or have as many of the toys around the house if you really want to stick to a specific style and not have it feel like it's too overly kid-ish throughout. Anyway, this is going to be our little laundry room. It's really simple. I just have a washer or dryer, a couple of decorations, and our 2 hampers. And then I decorate this little shelf on the wall, which is also from Laundry Day. I think it is so pretty. I love all the baskets and little shelf spots. So you can put all sorts of decor on there. And it just really filled up the space quite nicely. So that's that room. And then this room down the end of the hall is a really weird shape. And you could add a door instead of an archway into this and turn it into another bathroom. It could be an office. It could be a bedroom. Like, there's a lot of things you could do with it, but I decided to have it as like a storage room. I just think it's realistic, and I like to include spaces like this in the house. There's a bunch of random items in here. There's a couple of functional things, or at least one. I know I end up putting the decoration box from Seasons in here, so if you want to decorate for the holidays, you have that box available to you, and that feels like something you would put in a storage room or in an attic or something like that. I'm also noticing right now that one of the walls is not painted on the other side of that archway. So I'll try and fix that before I upload it to the gallery. But I have a couple of places to sit in here. We have some like old items from the basement clutter kit in here. So a lamp and some upside down chairs. I also put some bookcases in here and like boxes and just a bunch of stuff. I feel like we all have an area that you just clutter with the things you're storing. For me, it's the closets in my office. It's all storage because we don't have any storage in our apartment. So the closets in this room is where all of the like holiday decorations and things like that go, all the wrapping paper. So yeah, just getting some more things over on these bookcases. We have some more detergent and stuff. I didn't end up keeping the Lindsay speaker in here, I don't think, because I was like, why do I need another speaker in here? But maybe I did keep it. I just remember I got rid of it. Cool. I did, however, add the lunchbox that has the old phone on top of it. I think that is such a cool item, and having some of those like board games and stuff as well from the the basement treasures kit. Anyway, we are in the backyard now, and we are finishing up this build, just getting a fire pit and then finishing up our landscaping. And then we'll be heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. I'm so proud of it. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy those screenshots, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.